If you've been on social media, it seems like WWE 2K has been getting backlash all week long over persona cards and the ways that you need to go and get them. Now, they have responded to the backlash by doing a few things here and there. Now, it's not perfect, but it's for sure a couple steps forward. Let's go on ahead and get into it. When you go here, you notice that they were actually reposted again for people to be able to go on ahead and get. I already have all of these cards, so to me, it's not really that big of a deal, but I understood where people were coming from, where you had to gamble for these cards to then use in a live event to then get that card. So for example, the Ilya Dragunov, you needed Tony D'Angelo, who was super hard to pull, and now it seems like they're bringing back that live event. And the best part about it is you guys can't really see it on my end, but I will get a screenshot if possible. You are now able to get those cards. The reason why you can't see it on mine is because I basically have all of the cards already for that, because I was opening packs first week of the game, and that's when most of those cards were in there. But Austin Theory is still in packs, ladies and gentlemen, and you cannot buy him from the card market. So that's really the only card right at this moment that you can't buy right out, just like the other cards that you have. So when you go to the Fear set, you can get all those cards, and then the Ascent or Ascent, however you say it, you can go on ahead and get those cards, and that's where the Tony D comes in. These cards are still 40,000 MyFaction points, which is still a little hefty, and then 47,000 VC, which is still a little bit crazy as well. And we've talked about this in the past, and if we look at the VC, we're talking about, you know, close to 20 bucks for a card, which is a little bit insane in my opinion. There is no middle ground here or none of that. So that's something to keep in mind when talking about these cards and talking about how much they cost, because it is a grip. If you go back into the live event, this is a little bit of a gripe that I have. And when you go in here and look, the Carmelo Hayes and the LA Knight, that LA Knight alone, if you were to buy him right out, that's 40,000 MyFaction points. And then you have the VC option, which is obviously a little bit more. And then Tony D'Angelo, same thing. So right now, right there, we're already talking about close to 85,000 VC for both those cards combined. And you still have the Austin Theory card that you got to pull as well. And then the Booker T as well that you have to go on ahead and lock in that set for. So yes, it is tough. It is still some money involved in it. If you do grind, I have noticed that you can get lots of MyFaction points this year. Like I've easily made over 200,000-300,000 just playing the game. It's definitely easy. You guys see that I don't got no MyFaction points because I spend my MyFaction points a whole lot. But it's one of those things, man, and one of those points that I'm trying to make, that it still costs a decent bit even if you're not pulling packs. Now, if you are a Randy Orton fan and you really want that Persona card, this is obviously the better route to go, and I'm glad that they made that improvement, because people are out there gambling and not pulling these cards. I've seen people say they spend up to $500 trying to pull these cards, and man, I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of money. Like, I've spent here and there, but nowhere near $500. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So just be careful on what you're doing, man, because at the end of the day, we want to watch our pockets while playing this mode too. So I'm not anybody to tell you how to spend your money, because I don't like people telling me how to spend mine. All I'm saying is be careful on the way that you spend it, because the card market is even limited right now. There's really not that many cards in the game at the moment, unless you're just trying to complete collector level in MyFaction. So it's cool to see that they're taking steps forward. They still got a way to go, but for now, we're going ahead and take these W's while we can. Now let's go on ahead and get into some of the things that they need to go on ahead and patch. Let's just start with the Randy Orton Persona card, man. I hope that they go on ahead and patch this model into the game, because it's already been over a week and we still don't have access to play with that Randy model. King Booker still has no knees, and he's still not available across the game, across all modes as well. So that's another one. And these are two Persona cards that, again, they were pretty expensive, because for the Booker card, you cannot buy oddities from the card market. You need to pull those oddities. So only way to do it is if you're actively pulling packs with your MyFaction points, or if you're spending money, and that's just what it is. So that's just one thing that we really need to watch out for and hope that they go on ahead and fix. Persona cards, man, they're a great idea. I personally like them, but it does feel a little bit odd at times, because it feels like we're giving the same content over and over. And that's how it feels with this Randy Orton 09. Now, this year has been a better improvement in terms of the locker codes that we've gotten, and we see that they're going different routes in different ways, but I feel like the drive to go in there and have people spend money, I just don't think that's it all the time. And I think that having people spend money, $10, $15 here or there, I understand that a little bit more than having people gamble for these. And if you're gonna have people gamble, why not put them in the card market anyway? Because the price is already high enough you're still going to have people that's going to spend $50-$60 trying to get this card in the first place. So just have to go ahead and double down on that. Hopefully we see some improvements with this mode soon. I noticed that in universe mode, you still can't choose managers, you know, to come out with a wrestler, which I think is pretty odd to get that done in universe mode. So I do hope that that is something that is looked into as well, because honestly, man, I do think that universe mode needs that improvement very, very bad. And what I mean by manager is that you can choose a random superstar, but you can't choose like a Paul Heyman. You can't choose managers like that, and that's really where the improvement, you know, needs. And again, universe mode isn't perfect by any means, but I think it's much better than the years before, and that's really what matters to me. I think that as long as they continue to expand, we will be looking at, you know, different things, but even alternative attires are not consistent all the way on this mode. Sometimes they don't come out with the attire. When you wear an alt attire, you won't see damages across the body or anything like that. I don't know if that's by design or not, but again, it's just little things here and there that do need to be fixed. And one thing I have noticed is that custom matches do not work in universe mode. Custom matches this year are a little bit wishy-washy. Like, you'll make, you know, first finisher wins brawl, and instead it'll put you in just a regular brawl where knockouts could still happen. You do an elimination match and eliminations are still gonna go and not happen. I just feel like this is one big thing that definitely needs to be improved. If you guys did watch my video on custom matches, I seen a lot of complaints as well on that. So hopefully this is something that is improved on. And shout out to the hashtag IKearCarl for the Swerve. This is one of the most amazing creative wrestlers I have seen, but I wanted to go on ahead and bring this up because there have been so many issues with the creation suite this year thus far, and we're hoping that, you know, with the length and time this patch is taking, we are going to be able to see some vast improvements with the creation suite, because I have seen a lot of people worn out and just tired of just the things that are going on with the creation suite. So I thought I'd bring this up because obviously we don't want to leave the creation suite people alone, and hopefully it is something that's fixed, man, because these people keep the game alive for a very long time. I mean, just look at this Swerve. The fact that this was done with, you know, the creation suite feeling lackluster is just amazing and insane at the same time. So I just wanted to go on ahead and mention this, and hopefully 2K has a different approach with the next patch for the creation suite. Gameplay needs a very big change, and I feel like a lot of the mechanics are bound to be exploited over the years because people have learned how to do so. And don't get me wrong, I completely understand that, you know, that's not just on the players, it's also on the devs for allowing things like this to go down. But again, it's just me pointing something out that I really think needs to be fixed, even if there's just a way to even counter that. Maybe a reversal button while you're still standing there, you know, stunned. I don't know, it's a little annoying, man, and I'm personally not enjoying, you know, the fact that I have to run into those players every once in a while. So there's just lots of things to fix, and I'm hoping that this patch that's coming up does a lot and addresses a lot, because it has been over 2 Fridays since we haven't seen a patch update, and I'm hoping that we get something by the end of this week. But right now, man, hopefully they're taking all that time to get things looking right, making sure that the patch is just as juicy as it can be, honestly, because that's just where I'm at. You guys taking all this time, which is completely fine by me as long as things are fixed the correct way, and I'm all for being patient for something like that, because again, I truly enjoy the game. I gotta speak on what's broken and what's wrong with the game too, because it goes both ways. But again, man, we'll see what happens. Those are just a couple improvements that I personally want to see and have been bugging the hell out of me. So hopefully that is, you know, something that's looked into, and hopefully something that, you know, gets patched in this very update. Again, this patch I think is going to be very big, especially with them introducing the main event arena and the NXT championship. But again, none of that stuff matters if we can't get the core of the game fixed. And those persona cards, we got to patch them in, because there are people out there spending money on these cards and can't use them across all modes. So just my 2 cents, man. I personally am enjoying the game, but I can't help but talk about these things. We're already about a month into the game, so it hasn't been the smoothest launch, but it seems like they are doing a good job at making sure that things are getting in the game and making sure that this game stays as updated as possible. But I can't go through another patch of just stability. Let's get things solved. Let's get things fixed. Let's do it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you guys did enjoy this video. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.